What's good? What's good? What's good, Skins fans? What's up, y'all? What's good? We're gonna let 50 people in the chat, and then we'll really dig into the receiver discussion. So we have special guest Pedro, my man's Pedro. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Yeah, Pedro is a big Redskins YouTuber. He's on the come up. You got 2K now, right? 2K subs?
Yeah, 2,000 right now. Yep.
Yeah. He's coming up. So we'll be talking about the receivers. Everybody knows what happened to Cody Latimer. So that changes up the team. That changes up the roster a little bit. So we're gonna let 50 people get in here.
Yeah, maybe gets a undrafted free agent to the team.
Brian Harden, what's up, man? Metaphorical said Calvin Harmon's gonna be. I think Calvin Harmon's gonna be really good too. I like Calvin Harmon a lot. I think he's gonna get a lot of snaps, a lot of playing time this year. Sergio 7, what's up, man? Tyler C, shout out to Brian Harden. He is a member. He is a channel member. JB Hardy, shout out to him too. What's up, man? He's a channel member too. Got that cool Chase Young badge, that cool Chase Young emoji. Rico Proctor, what's up, man? Door Gunner said Cody probably wouldn't have made the team anyway. It's hard to argue that, man. It's hard to argue that. I think he was going to make the team. I do. Now it's looking a little dark for Cody Latimer. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was thinking he was going to be like that fifth option, maybe some special teams, just the veteran guy, because we really don't have. If you look at our starters or like best four receivers, it's AGG, Terry McLaurin, Steven Sims, and Kelvin Harmon. So those are all first-year, second-year players. So you got to have one veteran. So that's probably why Ron brought him in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't the biggest Cody Latimer fan when we signed him. You know, I was one of the people who kind of wanted like Emmanuel Sanders or Robbie Anderson or somebody like that. But I know Emmanuel Sanders, he wanted to go to a Super Bowl team. So Emmanuel Sanders was going to have Robbie Anderson. He took a 2-year deal, which actually wasn't that bad. We actually could have got him, in my opinion. But I like the young guys that we have. Door Gunner, what's up, man? The Quavers official, what's up, man? He said, I hope Isaiah Wright makes it, electric in the kickoff / punt returns. Yes, we are going to discuss Isaiah Wright. I like him a lot, too. He's a really good undrafted free agent. And now, if Cody Latimer is cut, then that's one of the guys that definitely should make the team.
Yeah, maybe Jonathan Johnson too.
I like Jonathan Johnson a lot too out of Mizzou. I like him a lot. JB Hardy 1 said, "Did you hear about Ed Oliver from the Bills?" Yeah, that's why I'm the real Ed Oliver, man. I'm the real Ed Oliver. I don't do things like that. Alex Coy, what's up, man? Tap King 13, what's up? General Chu, yo, what's up, man? Metaphorical Cam Sims is an unproven talent. I want him to make the team. Yeah, Cam Sims, that's another guy to talk about too. Cam Sims is somebody that definitely could make the team. Could have made it last year. He made the team in 2018, but last year in the Ravens game, he just dropped the ball too much. So that's why he didn't make the team. Thomas Rice, what's up, man? Brian Harden, what's good? Abu Ho, shout out to Abu Ho, what's up, man?
What's up, Abu?
Tab King 13, that's my guy right here. He said, "Did you hear about Cody Latimer? The whole story is pretty crazy. I'm gonna pray for him and his family." We did. Juan Gotti, what's up, man?
Shout out to Juan Gotti.
Make sure you sub to his channel. So Nathan Foster said, "Ed Oliver, I thought you were in jail." All right, yeah. I knew it. I knew you guys were gonna come with the jokes, man. I knew it. Like I said, I'm the real Ed Oliver. That's the fake Ed Oliver. He stole my name. That's why he's in jail. He's released now, but that's why he got locked up. Robert Russell, what's up, man? Hell's going to be an interesting year. Yes, it is. William Carter said Cam Sims won't make the roster unless he puts on 20 pounds. Let me see. Where am I?
If he puts on 20 pounds, maybe he switches to tight end, but yeah, it's crazy like how Cam Sims like last year had so much hype going into the year, and then he dropped those passes in the Ravens game and just really didn't have a good preseason, and that caused Steven Sims to make the team, which was a blessing in disguise because Steven Sims played really good last year at the end of the year.
Right. Yeah, Steve Sims. Yeah, he really impressed me. I love Steve Sims. He's my second favorite receiver on the team, of course, other than Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to it. Here, let me make sure the audio is good and all that. Just give me 1 second. Oh, okay. All right, so Pedro, let's start off with this, man. What made you become a Redskins fan?
Redskins fan. Well, I was born here, Northern Virginia, really close to DC. And my dad was watching the Redskins, and I just was watching what he was watching on TV, and just, even though they sucked, man, I just, kept watching them. Started watching in like 2010 with that Donovan McNabb, D'Angelo Hall, London Fletcher, Fred Davis, and then really started watching in like 2011, the year before RG3, and then watched every game from 2012 to 2020 that I could.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, man. I mean, RG3, that was a great year, and then it's been rough. It's been rough for young people, man. You guys, myself, actually, I haven't really been able to see a lot of good years of Redskins football. It's been tough. I mean, if you were born in the 80s, you got to see good football. If you were born like the 90s and 2000s, it's been rough. It's been real rough. Shout out to Thomas Rice, man. Shout out to 1,000 subs with no video challenge. What made you start a YouTube channel?
I mean, I just, like, when I was young, like, everybody's like, oh, like, just making YouTube videos for fun. And then I really started doing it last year, after the Redskins season ended. And it was really because I was watching you. Like, I saw your DJ Swearinger video that we released him, because I was so mad that we released him, because I got his jersey. I got it for Christmas, and he got released on Christmas Eve. And then, so I just started watching you, and I was like, that just inspired me to be a Redskins YouTuber. And then I just started doing that because it's just fun to do something you really like and enjoy when you love the Redskins. So that's pretty much why I started.
Right, man. Yeah, I'm happy I inspired you, man. That Swearinger video, man.
I was so mad that, like, I just got I was gonna get his jersey the next day, and he gets released.
Right.
I have terrible luck with jerseys.
Right, and they released him on Christmas Eve. I was pissed. I mean, he really went at Greg Mendusky, man. He went at Jay Gruden, and they got fed up. I mean, he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And I was pissed. I couldn't believe it when I heard it, first of all. I really couldn't believe it. And then I looked it up, and I was like, wow, this is true. I was like, I got to make a video on this. I gotta let this out. Juan Gotti has a question for you, Pedro.
Okay, so Juan, I was talking to Ed before the stream. I don't have a good face cam right now, but I'm gonna order one, try to get one. And maybe in the next month, depending on how long it takes to deliver because of the pandemic, I'll get one. I'll do the face cam soon.
Okay, bet. Yeah. I mean, yeah, your channel's taking off, man. It's crazy, it's crazy how your channel's taking off.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So it's been, I enjoy watching your videos. I really do. I mean, you got a lot of good info and cool stuff going on. So first question I got for you, man. I guess we'll talk about the draft just a little bit. What was, other than Chase Young, who was your favorite pick of the draft?
So at first, I mean, kind of probably AGG. Like, I was at first kind of upset with the Gibson pick because I thought we could have went like Josh Jones, the left tackle from Houston. But then I really started to watch him and saw how versatile he is. He might be my favorite, besides Chase Young, my favorite player. But my favorite pick's AGG. I love him.
Yeah.
And his personality too. His personality is great. Great kid and a stud too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love AGG, man. I mean, I can't wait to see him play. Like when they showed him doing the Rubik's Cube, he had a perfect bowling game. Not just stuff on the field. He's like a smart guy on and off the field. I can't
Yeah,
wait to see him play.
gymnast.
I
Yeah,
mean, watching his highlights got me hyped. So, we all know what happened with Cody Latimer. Nothing's a secret anymore. We don't know what's 100% true and what's not. But let's just say hypothetical, Ron Rivera does let go of Cody Latimer. How do you think that affects the wide receiver room? Is it a big impact on the wide receiver room, or is it a small impact to you? Does it affect, and how does it affect the other 5 or 6 or 7 guys that are technically on the roster right now?
I mean, I think that he would have probably made the team just because he's a veteran wide receiver, and like I said earlier, the 4 receivers we have on the that are best receivers, AGG, Terry McLaurin, Steven Sims, all of them are first and second year players. And Cody Latimer, he hasn't had a great career, but he's had 4 or 5 years. He's a veteran, so he probably would have made the team. Not played much, but I think he would have made the team. So I think it opens up, not guaranteed, but I think it opens up a spot for someone like Isaiah Wright, Jonathan Johnson, Cam Sims.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So yeah, Cam Sims, John Johnson, Isaiah Wright. I like those guys a lot. How do you feel about Trey Quinn? Do you think he has a chance? Do you think it opens up a door for him?
I don't know. I mean, if I doubt he makes a team. I mean, his rookie year, he kind of showed promise, but he only played a couple games, had that touchdown against Dallas on Thanksgiving. And then got injured for really before that was injured the whole season. And then last year, dropping balls, slow, super slow, had like 190 yards. I mean, but if he impresses in training camp, maybe he makes a team. I mean, he's competing with those guys that we said before. I think he's okay. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Okay. I basically agree with you about Trey Quinn. I don't think he's gonna make the team. Um. Okay. Thomas Rice has a quick question here. He said, he said, "Hey, this isn't wide receiver. This is running back. This is about the roster." He said, "Hey, Ed, I got a question for you. Do you think Bryce Love is going to get playing time this year? And in your opinion, who's going to be better, Bryce Love or Geis?" So Pedro, I'll let you go first with this one.
I think, I mean, if you look at Bryce Love's stats in his junior year, he had 2,100 yards,
Mm,
8.1 yards per carry, which is absolutely crazy. Second in Heisman voting. And I think if he is healthy, I truly do believe he's going to get some playing time. But that's the big question if he's healthy. JP Finley, this whole offseason, if you listen to his podcast, he's skeptical that Bryce Love is truly fully healthy. I think he's close to healthy. And I think Geis is going to slowly get into that number 1 running back role. I think last year they gave him too many carries in the beginning, which got him injured in that Eagles game. I think if he's healthy, he's going to be probably by the second half of the season or after the first few games. I think he's going to be our number 1 running back. And then along with Adrian Peterson, Bryce Love, but it is hard to get him playing time this year, or Bryce Love playing time this year when you have Darius Geis. If Darius Geis is healthy, which is a big if, but if he's healthy, it's hard to get Bryce Love playing time.
right. Right. Um. Yeah. So I kind of agree with you too, Pedro. I still believe in Darius Guy. Shout out to Skins fan all day. He's a channel member. That's my guy. Make sure you guys sub with his channel. I think of course Adrian Peterson is going to start because he's the only reliable running back that we have. We don't have any reliable running backs at all. Bryce Love coming off injury. Darius Geis has played 5 games out of 32 games, which is pretty bad. And Antonio Gibson is a rookie, and J.D. McKissick, he's a third down back, and Peyton Barber,
Yeah.
I don't think he's making the team, but I'm not gonna say I have high hopes for Darius Geis, but I'm one of the few people that actually still believes in Darius Geis. I want to give him a chance. I want to give him one more
Yeah.
year. Now, if he gets injured one more time, then it's time to move on. You just can't keep relying on that
Yeah.
guy. And there's some good running backs in next year's class. So
Yeah,
What were you gonna say?
just think about how good this running back core can be. Think Darius Geis, if he's healthy, you got Darius Geis, Bryce Love, and Antonio Gibson. All of those guys bring different things to the table. And if those guys are healthy, that is probably the best running back core in the NFL. But obviously, that's a big if, and if Antonio Gibson and Bryce Love are what we think they will be once they get on the field.
Right. Shout out to Alexander Wilson for the donation. He said, opinion on Urban Meyer saying that you surround Haskins with talent, he will succeed. He basically said they don't have the talent for him. Pedro, I'll let you go first on that one.
Yeah, I saw that, or I listened to that podcast and on 106.7 The Fan too, but I think he was more referring to last year. If you like, he really didn't have much talent. I mean, we haven't added much this year, but I think it's going to be like the development of the young guys are really going to help him succeed. And yeah, he didn't have a good offensive line at all last year with Donald Penn at left tackle, which really, really hurt him. And I think like throwing him into the Wolves pretty much in that week 3 game against the Giants without Brandon Sheriff playing, without Terry McLaurin playing, really killed him and his confidence because he didn't have any talent around him in that game. And then I think once he started getting more reps and once he started getting used to the guys, he really started getting better and better after the season. And I think we will get some more talent around him. We did get AGG and Sadiq Charles. So we still need to adjust the tight end position, though.
Right, definitely. I think you're right. Alex, yeah, I mean, what Urban Meyer said, it has a little bit of truth to it. And sometimes I don't like him saying that because it's kind of saying you got to have great players around Haskins to be successful. A lot of times, the better quarterbacks are really good with guys who are kind of average. You look at Aaron Rodgers, but those are like the GOATs right there. But every rookie quarterback needs some help. I mean, we got to help them out a little bit more. I think we have Terry McLaurin. I think if we trust in the young guys, I think they do have time to develop, but the offensive line does have to get better. And we are in a rebuilding process. That's why, I feel like people have to be patient with Dwayne Haskins. You can't just be ready to kick him out of there after just one season, which a lot of people are trying to do. You need talent around you to help out. And he doesn't have a great tight end, doesn't really have a legitimate starter because Logan Thomas is our best tight end, and he's had his, if you look at his stats, they're pretty abysmal. They're pretty weak stats, to be honest with you. He hasn't really done much in his career. Jeremy Sprinkle can't catch a cold to save his life sometimes. And Hal Hinches was honestly the better tight end last year, and receivers are all young rookies. So Haskins does need a lot of help. But I get what Urban Meyer is saying. Sometimes I just don't like when he says it, though. But I like how he defended him. He was like, he said the organization was bad last year, the coaching staff. We all know Jay Gruden didn't want Dwayne Haskins. So we all know how bad of a situation it was for Dwayne Haskins. And then, like you said, when he got comfortable with Kevin O'Connell, they were throwing the ball on first down and second down instead of predictable play calling from Bill Callahan. Haskins played a lot better. He actually ran and scrambled on a read option against the Eagles for like 25 yards. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I love that Haskins lost weight. I love that he's leaner and lost a couple pounds. I think that's going to help him a lot, honestly. I'm not expecting him to be a scrambling quarterback or anything like that, but I think him losing the weight definitely does help him. He's going to be more mobile. He can move around a little bit more, so that's going to be better. Shout out to Abu Ho for becoming a channel member. Shout out to him. You guys can definitely, the link is down below in the description box. You can become a channel member. You get cool badges. Yeah, shout out to my man Abu. I think he's a member of your channel too, Pedro.
Yep.
So my guy Yimi Yahoo bin Yahuda, his question. Thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. She said, "What about Caleb Wilson and Emmanuel Hall?" So, Pedro, I'll let you go first.
I don't think Caleb Wilson's too special. I mean, we already got like 3 to 4, not solid tight ends, but guys have been backups and starters in the league before. So I don't see him making the roster. Maybe this practice squad. Emmanuel Hall, though, I feel like he's one of those guys, kind of like Steven Sims, that if he has a good training camp, like if you watch his highlights, he is crazy. Like, I think he went undrafted too, just like Steven Sims. And I think he could make the team if he really, really has a good training camp, but he's probably not going to make the team. But
Mhm. And I like Caleb Wilson. I like Emmanuel Hall a lot. But Caleb Wilson probably won't make the team. It's already a crowded tight end position. And I did hear the video quality is pretty bad. But we're just gonna keep it going, man. And we'll make it work. But Emmanuel Hall, I like him a lot out of Mizzou. He runs a 4.3 40. He was real speedy in college. He was real good with Drew Lock in college. I don't see him really making the team because it's a crowded receiver room, and we already have a couple of speed guys. Like we have Jeremy Lawrence, a speed guy, but he's a legit receiver. Steve Sims is a speed guy. Who else? Isaiah Wright is a speedy guy. So
Jonathan Johnson.
Yeah, John Johnson. So it's going to be a lot of battles. It's going to be a lot of training camp battles. So I don't really see Emmanuel Hall making the roster. But I think he'd be a really, really good practice. If somebody gets injured, knock on wood, I'd be pretty confident in Emmanuel Hall coming in and maybe taking a punt return back or something like that. And shout out to my man Rich Heigl for becoming a channel member. Shout out to him, man. Hail to them skins. Shout out to my man Rich Heigl. Big Redskins fans. He's a good guy. He's always in the comment section. I always talk to him all the time. Let's see here. Colby 2 Goda said Jonathan Johnson or Isaiah Wright. Pedro, I'll let you go first again.
Well, personally, the thing is, like, they both kind of had big dips in production from their junior to senior year. Jonathan Johnson had about 750 yards in his junior year, went to 300 in his senior. And then Isaiah Wright, he didn't dip down that much, but still dipped down a bit. And I think, obviously, losing not first round quarterback, but second round quarterback in Drew Lock hurts a bit. But I think he's kind of a poor man Steven Sims, or at least for now.
Right.
And we already have him on the roster. And you got probably Antonio Gibson in the slot. And I think Isaiah Wright, personally, in my opinion, has a better chance of making the team. He can kick return, punt return, good, obviously, receiver, and he can run the ball sometimes too. So I think he has a better chance of making the team. That's my opinion.
Yeah, so Isaiah Wright and John Johnson. I actually like John Johnson a lot. I watched his highlights. If you guys get the chance, there's not a lot of highlights on him.
Yeah,
I only saw like 3 videos.
Yeah,
it's really hard to find some highlights on him. But when you watch his highlights, like he's pretty surprised. And Mizzou, they're in the SEC, so they play legitimate teams. I think they are in the SEC. They did move to the SEC, so they play teams like Bama, Ole Miss, and LSU. They play the big time, big name teams in the big beasts of college. So he played against really good competition. Like I said, and Drew Lock went to the NFL, and the other guy, I think his name was like Kelly Bryant or something like that.
Kelly Bryant.
Yeah, he was okay, but he wasn't. He's not Drew Lock. So the quarterback production went down, and then he got injured towards the end of the year. But if you look up John Johnson's highlights, he really looks like a baby Steve Sims. He plays exactly like he'll do jet sweeps, he'll do punt returns, kick returns, he'll go deep. Like when he catches the football, like remember that play where Steve Sims caught the ball and he just like turned around and went for like 50 yards against the Cowboys. Like that's the kind of stuff that John Johnson can do, and I won't be surprised, especially if Cody Latimer is out of the equation. I won't be surprised if John Johnson somehow does beat out Isaiah Wright for that last spot. I wouldn't be surprised because he's really good. I like him a lot.
Yeah, it depends on if we take 5 or 6 receivers.
Right. I think, let's see here. Somebody else had a donation.
I think it was Abu.
Yeah, my man's Abu. Shout out my man's Abu. He's a channel member. Thank you for the donation. He said, "Are we going to get Jalen Ramsey next year?" The funny thing is, Pedro was talking about that in one of his live streams, and we were actually talking about that before we hopped on. So, Pedro, I'll let you go first again.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about, like, I was talking about earlier, is like our team, I got us at like 6 to 7 wins. I saw a few people asking that what I thought we would as our win or our win total. I think it's about 6 to 7 wins. Could go up or down depending on Haskins' development. But if we win 6-7 games, especially with the expanded playoffs, you just need 2 more wins from 7 and you're in the playoffs. And I think adding someone like Jalen Ramsey in free agency gets us that extra win or 2, and some other players in free agency. Jalen Ramsey on our defense is going to be absolutely crazy. already with our pass rush, cornerbacks are gonna or quarterbacks are gonna have less time to throw the ball, so cornerbacks are gonna benefit from that. And then when you got to throw to Jalen Ramsey, it's gonna be unfair how good our defense is if we get Jalen Ramsey.
Oh yeah, I mean Jalen Ramsey would be sick. Only thing is just you got to pay him. That's the big thing.
Like
I
18
mean,
mil a year, like it's gonna be something like that.
right. I mean, Josh Norman got what, like 15, if I'm not mistaken. I think he
Yeah,
got
and then Byron Jones got, I think it was 16, but Jalen Ramsey's better than Byron Jones.
right.
But we do have a lot of cap space next year, but we got to save it for our young players in the future too, though.
That's facts. That's facts. James Bradbury got a lot of money too. Byron Jones got a lot of money. But yeah, you're gonna have to pay Jalen Ramsey. He might be, because he's very cocky, and the cap space is gonna go up, because of the new CBA and whatnot. But you're gonna have to pay Jalen Ramsey a lot.
The one thing I did hear though is that if the season plays with no fans, that makes the revenue lower. So then the cap space is actually might go down.
Oh man, that makes sense though.
Yeah. So hopefully we can play with some fans. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man. I don't think there's gonna be. I think there's gonna be games.
Yeah, I hope.
I'm hopeful and optimistic. I think there's gonna be games. I mean, they've done everything. Like they've done free agency, they've done the draft.
Yeah.
I think I heard facilities are starting to open up, not for players, but like the GM. I think some of the
facilities have been like open for players rehabbing too for a while.
Right. Yeah. Reuben Foster, Bryce Love, Alex Smith, guys like that. I actually saw. I think I might have saw Tom Brady in pads, because I know Florida is open. So
yeah, they were throwing the ball today to, I think it was OJ Howard and them. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, to answer your question, Abu, to finish it off, are we going to get Jalen Ramsey next year? I don't know. I mean, that is a Dan Snyder kind of move. I wouldn't be mad at the move because, I mean, obviously he's better than Josh Norman. Is he worth all that money though? It's a tough one, but yeah, we do need a corner. We need corner pretty bad.
Everyone's going to be paying him.
Yeah, to have him with, and that's a good question, to have him with Chase Young and the Bama boys up front. I mean, that is a nasty. And then you got Landon Collins behind you. He's not the best cover safety, but he's still a dominant, pretty good safety. He's a Pro Bowl safety. And then we still have a question mark with safety. I don't know how Sean Davis is going to be this year, but Jalen Ramsey behind Chase Young, I mean, that is especially with Jack Del Rio coaching, and who knows who we can bring in next year as well, because we're going to have more cap space. Like you said, Alex Smith is off the books, and we finally got rid of Trent Williams. So we're going to load it. And Ryan Kerrigan, his contract is up next year with the $11.5 million. So even if we bring Ryan Kerrigan back, it's going to be on a cheaper deal, much cheaper than $11.5 million. So that is an intriguing person, Jalen Ramsey. And so I think somebody else asked about Juju Smith-Schuster as well. Shout out to Abel Ambrosio with the donation. He's a channel member too. Shout out to him. Yeah, Pedro, once again, I'll let you go first on this one.
I don't necessarily have any hot takes. Like, I mean, it's tough, right? Because I don't want to say we're gonna make the play. I mean, I think the thing is, right? I think we can make. I doubt we make the playoffs, but if Haskins plays like above average quarterback this year, like above average, I think we could win 8-9 games, maybe if Haskins plays really good. I mean, we'll see, because if remember what we did in 2018 with Alex Smith, we went 6-3 with that really good defense, really good running game, and Alex Smith wasn't playing lights out either. He was just game managing, and he was like an average quarterback, just not turning the ball over. If we can get that from Haskins, who knows what we do this year?
Right. My hot take, and somebody said, did you see Jalen Ramsey's tweet? Yeah, that's the reason why a lot of this started to go off subject, but that's a big reason why a lot of people are speculating about Jalen Ramsey coming to the Redskins, because he did support Dwayne Haskins. And we haven't seen somebody just not randomly, but just come out and support Dwayne Haskins that wasn't a Washington Redskins player. We've had former Redskins players like D'Angelo Hall bash Dwayne Haskins. I want to say Jeff Bostic and some other guys have bashed Dwayne Haskins. I mean, it's been crazy. And Jalen Ramsey went to bat for Dwayne Haskins, like he plays for the Redskins. So it was a very interesting tweet. But to get back to the hot takes,
for Abel. I would say a hot take. I would say Terry McLaurin 1,000 yards, but that's not really. That's something that he really should. He should have had 1,000 yards last year. I'm gonna say.
Actually,
I'm gonna say. What were you gonna say, Pedro?
I kind of got a hot take. I think if
Mhm.
I mean it has an asterisk around it. If Geis plays 13 plus games, which
That's
is
big if.
like I said, big if.
Right.
That's why I said 13. I think he gets 1,200, 1,100 yards. You saw what he did last year. Like
Mhm.
not even getting many carries, but he had around 5 yards per carry. It is going to be hard to get 1,100 yards
Mhm.
because our backfield is so deep, but I think he can do it. He's super, super good, but when he's healthy.
Right. My hot take. I'm gonna say Montez Sweat gets 11 sacks. I like Montez Sweat a lot. He had 7 last year, and under a terrible defensive coordinator and a bad defense, dropping back in coverage. I feel like Montez Sweat can get 11 sacks. I think they're gonna be double teaming Chase Young. They're gonna be sliding the protection over to Chase Young. I really think Montez Sweat's gonna be 1-on-1, and he had a great game against the Cowboys. He had a good game against the Panthers. He had a nice sack against the Bills. He showed flashes last year. Forced a fumble on Dak Prescott. I like what I saw from Montez Sweat. That's basically my hot take. It's not the hottest take. And my another hot take. I got us beating the Eagles week 1. I got us beating
Yeah,
the
me
Eagles
too.
week 1. I think that's a really winnable game. A lot of people are counting us out. We should have beat them last year twice. We should have swept them, in my opinion. We're up 17-0 at the half or 17-10 or whatever it was at the half.
Yep.
And of course, Jay Gruden got out coached, and we just let Deshaun Jackson run by us. And Case Keenum overthrew Terry McLaurin. So I really thought we could have won that first game. The second game at home, we all know what happened with that. When we were winning that game at the half, too, it was 13-10. Dwayne Haskins was playing well. Terry McLaurin had a nice catch for a touchdown. And we once again just choked it away. I thought we should have won both of those games. So we owe the Eagles one. I got us beating the Eagles in week 1.
Norman single-handedly lost us that first game when he was covering Djax, and then in that second game, he allowed the game-winning touchdown too. Thank God he did, because we got Chase Young out of it. But I'm just so happy that we did not win that game against the Giants, because that would have been the difference between getting Chase Young versus a tackle or Isaiah Simmons. And for what? Haskins wasn't even in the game at the last half, so it wasn't like he would win the game for us.
Right. Yeah. The funny thing is that Giants game, we should have won that game. Honestly, in my opinion, we should have beat the Giants. It should have beat the Eagles. But I'm happy, like you said, I'm happy we didn't, because we ended up with Chase Young, who was the best player in the draft, according to all the draft scouts like Mel Kiper and whatnot. And Pro Football Focus, he was the highest rated player in the draft. It was tied, right? I think we tied it, and it was going to go to overtime, and we could have went for 2 or just tied it. And I feel like if we would have went for 2, we would have scored, because the Giants' both defenses were awful, and we would have just easily scored on a 2-point conversion, and we would have had like the 4th pick of the draft, and probably would ended up with like Jeffrey Okudah or what's his name, Andrew Thomas or somebody like that.
Yeah. Still would have been a good player, but not like Chase Young. And the thing is, if you lose or if you beat the Giants, that probably means they get Chase Young, which is
right.
That would not be a pretty sight.
Right. Yeah, we would have been getting killed for the next 10 years. And he's gonna be making Danny fumble the ball. So take that. You're a funny guy. You're a funny guy, man. Look at his picture, man. You're a funny guy. He actually had a dog picture when he first made the donation. Thank you for the donation, man. And then he changed his picture to that. So you're a funny guy. Take that. Hey, man. I don't know why he stole my name. First of all, now he's gonna go ahead and get arrested, get a DWI, and he had the beer in between his legs. I heard he was trying to hide the beer. Like the beer, he opened the beer up. He was already drinking and chugging in the car, driving, and he had a gun on him, and he had a piece on him. And these players, see, this is why they need to start training camp. I know safety and all that. They just need structure. These players need structure. You look at Quentin Dunbar, you look at DeAndre Baker, you look even Earl. I forgot about Earl Thomas. There's been so much stuff going on. I forgot the Earl Thomas thing happened. And that kind of is his fault, because allegedly he was cheating and whatnot. But Brashad Breeland arrested, a couple weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And Cody Latimer is added to the list. So it's like, who's next? Like, Memorial Day weekend is next weekend, and that's a 3-day, and everybody goes crazy Memorial Day weekend. Everybody's drinking and grilling and cooking. DeAndre Baker and Quentin Dunbar, they went to a cookout. Everybody's gonna have a cookout. Is everybody going to be gambling and going crazy? You know, I mean, it's just crazy. These guys need structure, man. They need something. They need to practice, get in the weight room. They need to do some type of team activity. I understand the safety, but these guys are out here getting arrested. It's more dangerous for these guys to have downtime than, the freaking pandemic almost. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Somebody else had a donation here. Let's get to the comments. Who was it? I think my man Skins Fan All Day donated. I think somebody else donated too.
Yeah.
Oh, a couple donations. Wow. Okay, let's get it. Thank you guys for donating. Trying to get through these comments here. We were on that subject. We were on the hottest take subject for a little while. Chris Zacharias, thank you for the donation, man. He said if Haskins gets hurt, is Cam Newton a possibility? Pedro, I'll let you go first. I'm gonna just let you go first on all
Yeah.
of this. Yeah.
I mean, I think, in my opinion, that's not even just if Haskins gets hurt, but if we don't have, I mean, I really hope we do. If we don't have a training camp and we just got 2 weeks of boot camp before the season starts, and then that's why they got Kyle Allen, because he knows the system and he can come in and maybe play the first couple weeks if Haskins doesn't know the playbook. I think that's why they traded for Kyle Allen, for Kyle Allen, so they could have an insurance policy if Haskins got hurt or if something else happens, he could play. And I think Cam Newton would definitely not this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like how you said boot camp, but if Haskins gets hurt, is Cam Newton possible? Well, you know how Ron loves his former Panthers, and I've been skeptical. I've been kind of against Cam Newton the whole offseason because I feel like it's Donovan McNabb 2.0, and I feel like Cam Newton's had so many injuries, shoulder injuries, foot injuries, just so many injuries he's had, and then you just see like I think Cam's a good leader. I think he's a good teammate. He's been an MVP, he's been a Pro Bowler, but sometimes you see him at the press conferences. He's wearing like a freaking grandma bandana, a grandma hat. And
the way he types.
Yeah, the way he types on Instagram. It's like, I really don't feel like seeing that. But I feel like if Cam was our starting quarterback, especially in the NFC East, I'm not going to lie, we probably would win like 7 games with Cam Newton.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is if I think Haskins is going to have a good year this year. I hope he does. As long as he progresses, I think he's going to be fine. But let's say, like I said, I don't think this is going to happen. But let's say Haskins plays terrible this year and they don't think he's going to be their quarterback. Then maybe next offseason they would think about signing Cam Newton because he's probably going to, if he does sign a deal this year, it's going to be a 1-year deal. So that's a possibility. But this year, I don't think so.
Right. And I don't think Dan Snyder's going to allow that to happen. I think he had a conversation with Ron, obviously, before he got here. It was like, hey, Haskins is my guy. It's the guy that I drafted. I went over, the previous regime, the previous coaching staff, and I wanted Dwayne Haskins. I thought he is a franchise quarterback. And, Cam Newton's older. I like that they're trusting that Haskins going with the young, because we've always tried to bring in a Mark Brunell and Mark Brunell wasn't bad. He went to the playoffs, or bring in like a Donovan McNabb or a Rex Grossman or some kind of bum old stopgap quarterback. And I like that we're actually going young, like Terry McLaurin, AGG, and guys like that. I'm happy that we're trusting on our young guys moving forward. So I wouldn't go after Cam Newton. Shout out to Adrian. Thank you for the donation. He said, hail to the Redskins. Love from Texas. Redskins keeping 4 running backs. Trust. Once again, Pedro, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, the Redskins kept 5 running backs last year, and then Ron Rivera kept last year in Carolina, kept 3 running backs and a fullback. Obviously, with Christian McCaffrey, that's kind of like 2 running backs, so that's why they keep 5 plus the fullback. It's going to be very interesting. I haven't decided yet what I think, because I think Geis and AP are Sherlock going to make it unless something off the field happens, right? I think they're going to make it. And then Bryce Love, as long as he's healthy, he's making the team. And then Antonio Gibson. I mean, I don't think Peyton Barber's making the team. And then J.D. McKissick could make the team because they did go out of their way and sign him. And he's a good 3rd down back. But it's going to be interesting because you got that versatility from J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson. So maybe you only need to keep 4.
Right. Yeah, Antonio Gibson's listed as a running back since he's wearing number 24, so he's making the roster. I made my video on this earlier. Pedro made a video as well too.
Yeah.
Ron's going to keep a lot of running backs, and personally, I wouldn't even sign Peyton Barber. I think he's just a camp body, kind of like how they used to sign Brian Quick a couple years ago and Scandrick and guys like that. Orlando Scandrick. Peyton Barber will be cut. Adrian Peterson's going to make the team because he's the only reliable running back. We know he's going to play 16 games. You can't count on Geis. You can't count on Bryce. So Geis is going to make the team. Bryce Love is going to make the team. Antonio Gibson obviously is going to make the team. So that's 4 right there. And then they're going to keep JD. They like JD. I can tell they like JD McKissick a lot because they let Chris Thompson walk. And he does the same thing that Chris Thompson does, which is like third down running back. And he was a receiver before. And he transitioned to a running back. And they love versatility. Like every draft pick they made is somebody that can play multiple positions except for like AGG and Sidney Charles. Like even Keith Ishmael can play like multiple positions.
No, yeah, Sadiq Charles can also. He played in his freshman year, played guard too. So even him, he's versatile.
Wow, yeah, I didn't know that. That's good to know. But like Pedro said, he's versatile too. I mean, so they want J.D. McKissick to play, and that J.D. McKissick will help out Haskins too. Watch his highlights too. He's pretty explosive. Like I didn't really watch him before. He's with the Seahawks. He's actually he'll surprise you. Like he can create space. Like we were looking for that guy last year. Like Chris Thompson always injured. We were looking for an explosive third down running back to help out Haskins, and I think J.D. McKissick can definitely help us. So I think we're going to keep 5, especially with the 55 man roster. He's going to keep 5 running backs. So it's going to be a running back by committee instead of just that one guy. I think so. Shout out to my man Skins fan all day. Shout out, make sure y'all sub him up. He said, "I'm gonna say it again, 11-5. Nobody knows our offensive or defensive scheme because everything is new." Wait, Pedro, you can go ahead.
I hope, man. I mean, 11-5 is bold, but you never know in the NFL. But I think that's a realistic prediction for 2021 if everything goes well with Haskins. We have a decent free agency and keep building through the draft. Another thing I wanted to say was Ron builds through the draft. If you look at any player you name from the Panthers when Ron was there, pretty much they drafted or traded for. The only their most notable free agency signing was Ted Ginn Jr. Not a big name. So he builds through the draft. So I don't expect any huge names or a lot of them, but I'm excited for the future of this team with Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, Montez Sweat, Dwayne Haskins, all of them.
Right. 11-5. Yeah, that's real bullish. I love the confidence. I love it. That's my guy, Skins fan all day. 11-5. It's hard for me to say 11-5. And I know the NFC East is not the best division ever, and I think some teams did get a little bit better. Like the Cowboys, they're still kind of the same because they didn't really improve their defense. And the Eagles, Deshaun Jackson's old, and you can't really rely on him. He's probably their best receiver. And the Giants, Danny Fumbles. Did they really get better? Not really.
No.
So I think we should split the division. I got us going 6-10. It's going to take time. Rome wasn't built in a day. I think 2021 is the year where we're going to go 11-5 or 10-6. I think we'll make that jump next year because Dwayne Haskins is going to get better. Chase Young is going to get good chemistry with the defensive line. Terry McLaurin will get better. AGG will be better. Steve Sims, Calvin Harmon, they'll get good chemistry. I think CD Charles will improve. Morgan Moses, hopefully he gets better.
Wes Martin.
Yeah, Wes Martin will get better. So all the young guys are going to step up and get better. Jimmy Moreland. So I think we'll have better chemistry. And like you said earlier, Pedro, we'll have more cap space. So we can add more guys. And we got the 3rd round draft pick from Trent Williams. So that's another pick. And more cap space. Hopefully we can gain another pick somehow, some way too. So I think Dwayne Haskins will be a lot better this year coming up, and he'll be better in the 3rd year. I think the 3rd year is where Dwayne will really just make a big leap in my opinion.
You don't need an elite quarterback to win the Super Bowl. You see what Eli Manning did with the Giants. He's never been a great quarterback. He's been a good quarterback for a long time and an average quarterback, and their defense and the weapons around him carried him to the Super Bowl. And our defense is, I think, going to be elite in a couple years. So if Haskins can just play average, I think we can do damage. And if he's a great quarterback, which I think he can be, it's going to be scary.
Right. Yeah, I think he's matured a lot too. I think some of it was some maturity things. Getting his nose in the playbook and having a coaching staff that actually believes in him. And it sounds like Ron Rivera's actually, believed in him because when he first came in the first press conference, he kept saying there was going to be competitive competition and made it sound like, we were going to bring somebody else in possibly or, drafting Tua or something. I knew the Tua rumors were false, but he really sounded like he really backed Haskins when he said, he probably was not going to bring in Cam Newton. So I think the big thing with Haskins is just confidence and just growing up and maturing, So I don't think he's ever going to do the selfie thing again. If he does the selfie thing again, it will be after the game is over, so he doesn't miss the last snap of the football.
Yep.
So
I was at that game.
oh, that was a good game to go to, man.
Yep.
We actually won that game. I mean, I know it was a tough game to watch because it was 16-13, and
one touchdown was one of the touchdowns was a Steven Sims kick return.
Yeah, I think that was our only touchdown actually.
Yep. Yeah, because we had 2 field goals at the end of the game after Dunbar interceptions and Fabian Moreau, I think.
Yeah. And then Haskins, he scrambled. He made the pass to Terry, and then he scrambled for like 10 yards, and he went crazy. He got hyped, and then we made the game win a field goal. Shout out to my man's Yamahu Ben Yahuda. Thank you for the donation again. That's another donation for him, man. He's knocking them down, Thank you for the donation. He said, "Who's going to be our starting linebacker?"
That's a tough one. I mean, you got to think that Ron Rivera wants, or I mean, it's Ron Rivera's call, but obviously also Jack Del Rio's call. It's going to be tough. I mean, I think Thomas Davis is definitely going to compete for that job just because obviously he's been a great linebacker for a long time. Last year had 120 tackles, something like that, and is still decent and is a veteran presence. So he might start, and then I think you got Sean Dion Hamilton competing there for a starting spot. And I think Cole Holcomb is super good and super underrated. He just has to work on his coverage. His coverage is not good, but I think if his run stopping ability is great and he's a good tackler. If he can work on his coverage, I think he's going to get a lot better. And then you also got Jeff Bostic, but I think probably Thomas Davis and then maybe Hamilton. We'll see though.
Oh, I saw in the comments somebody said tickets were very cheap for that game. I do remember the Lions game.
It was $4.
You got tickets for $4?
I think you could get nosebleeds for $4. I was sitting like 10 rows out for like $15. And also I forgot the player. One player I did forget was Reuben Foster. And if he is healthy, I think he's going to start. But if he's not, then obviously, yeah. But if he's healthy, I think he's going to be a super good player, super hard hitter. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, Reuben Foster, he's going to be a beast. I can't wait to see Reuben, man. I can't wait to see. But yeah, after I finish this, I do want to hear that's funny because I don't know if hopefully a Redskins game is not that cheap. We're that bad that the just
and the whole I was on the Lions sideline. It was so many Lions fans too. It was crazy. And they were talking trash about Haskins, like when they were winning in the beginning, like, oh, Haskins sucks. And then we won the game. And then they were just sitting and they were like, oh, well, at least we improved our draft pick.
Well, the funny thing is that we ended up getting the better draft pick.
Yeah.
We got Chase Young. So how much were the tickets that you guys got?
It was cheap. It was like, I don't know, like me and my dad won. It was like $15-20 each for the lowest seats possible, like 15 rows out. It was really good seats for super cheap. And we ended up winning the game.
That's funny, man. I know the food costs more than the tickets. That's the crazy thing about it. Like that was so funny. But yeah, to get back to your question, man, Yimmy Yahoo. Just like Pedro said, Reuben Foster should start, Cole Holcomb. And Thomas Davis obviously is going to start because Ron loves Thomas Davis. He's a veteran. He's basically like another coach. He's going to be the team leader. He's going to be the voice of the team. You can compare him a little bit to London Fletcher. They both were in their late 30s playing for the Washington Redskins. Thomas Davis played really well for the Charge last year. Like he was still moving around like he was a young guy. A lot of tackles. I think he had like 100-something tackles last year. So I'm excited to see Thomas Davis. I'm excited to see Reuben Foster if he can be healthy. I'm not relying on him because he just got feeling in his feet. I feel like not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm also excited to see how Ryan Anderson does in the 4-3 because he's going to be rushing a lot more. Him and Kerrigan too.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait to see. Ryan Anderson was a beast last year. Like he had 2 sacks against the Eagles, played well against the Giants.
Yeah,
like Ryan,
5 forced fumbles.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like he was playing his butt off. Like, and somebody told me a crazy stat last year. Like they said, how many sacks did the Bama boys, Ryan Kerrigan, how many sacks did those guys?
Oh yeah, I saw that
against the NFC East, and it was pretty low. I mean, I know Ryan Kerrigan didn't play against the Eagles last year, I think, because he had a concussion, and I don't think he played against the Giants, but it was pretty bad. Like
Jonathan Allen got hurt against the Eagles week 1.
Right. Yeah. So it kind of was an unfair stat, but it shows that because a lot of people were like, oh, we don't need Chase Young. We don't need Chase Young because we already have the Bama boys Kerrigan and Montez Sweat. But no, we actually needed another pass rusher. You can never have enough pass rushers. So I'm happy we got Chase Young, of course. But who's going to be our starting linebacker? Like I said, Cole Holcomb. What's his name? Reuben, if he's healthy, Reuben Foster and Thomas Davis. Will be the 3 starting linebackers. I love Ryan Anderson. He played really well last year. I still like Sean Deion Hamilton. He's really good in coverage. And John Bostic is a good rotational linebacker, good backup linebacker. He had 100-something tackles last year, so he was really good filling in for us. And then Josh Harvey Clemens. I don't know if he's gonna make the team. I know they got Kevin Pierre-Louis. He's not gonna start. He's gonna be like a special teams guy. And then Khaliki Hudson. He might make the team.
I think, he's probably going to make the team just because, they did invest a 5th-round pick in him, and I think he's going to be, like you saw, he had 5 block punts at Michigan. I think he's not I think he's going to be like that hybrid kind of player, can come off the edge occasionally, and then also sometimes go in coverage because he played safety and linebacker in college at Michigan. Right.
Yeah, once again, versatility. He's a guy that can play multiple positions. Yeah, he played safety as well in college. So, that's So I like our linebacking core. If everybody's healthy, I think we got a pretty good line. It's not the best linebacking core. It can improve, but I like the guys that we have definitely. Let's see here. Somebody else had a donation somewhere. I can't even find it. Oh, it's Abu. I mean, my man's Abel Ambrosio. Shout out to my man Abel Ambrosio. He's a channel member too. If you want to become a channel member, you can in the link in the description below. Thank you for the donation. He said, "Who you guys see starting punt returner / kick returner?"
Yeah, that's a good question because before last year, last year before Steven Sims started doing it, it was Trey Quinn. And that was just awful to see because you just see fair catch after fair catch after fair catch, and he does nothing. And then when he does run, it's like a 2-yard run, and he gets killed. But I think you see Steven Sims, I think it's his job at the beginning of the season, unless I think he's going to be starting it. You saw what he did against the Lions with that huge kick return, and then maybe someone else does punt returns, but I think he's definitely going to do kick return. Antonio Gibson also did kick return in college at Memphis. And maybe one of the 2 that make the team, Isaiah Wright, Jonathan Johnson, they could do it too. There's it's been a while since we've had a lot of these threats. And this year we got 4 or 5 guys that can do it.
Yeah, I mean, the last guy I can think is like Brandon Banks, who was like a crazy dynamic punt returner, kick returner. I know Andre Roberts wasn't bad. Jamison Crowder was okay punt return,
and then he started fumbling.
Right, yeah, he started fumbling. But to get back to the guys who are currently on the roster, like Pedro said, I mean, Isaiah Wright was known for punt returning and kick returning. Antonio Gibson was known for punt returning and kick returning in college. Steve Sims has been a beast so far. He had a touchdown against the Lions. I love seeing Steve Sims bring back punts. Yeah. But he's starting to emerge as a legitimate receiver. So it's like, do you really want him back there taking hits?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So it's like you might just have, and J.D. McKissick can return punts too. So there's a lot of guys that can do it. And I love the depth and the versatility of our punt returners and kick returners. We might be able to win some games just off of special teams because we have so many guys that can do it. So if we want to win like that, we definitely can. But to who do I see starting a punt returner, kick returner? That's a tough one. I'm gonna say Steve Sims starts off punt returning. For kickoffs, I'm gonna go with I don't know if they're gonna use Antonio Gibson as a punt returner or I mean as a kick returner because they want to use him like everywhere. So I think they might save him just for like regular snaps. But I'll go with Antonio Gibson for right now with kick returns and McKissick. That's what I'm gonna go with for kick. But punt returner it definitely should be Steve Sims because he's the most explosive. Like he's known for doing it now. So I would have Steve Sims back there for punt returns because he can actually he has a chance to actually score like
every time
he gets it. So and a lot of teams are going to be scared of that. So let's see here. I think Abu Ho was the next donation. Let's see here. My man's Abu Ho. Thank you for the donation. He said, I'm sure Jalen Hurts will hurt the Eagles, no pun intended or pun intended, and they have an injury-prone quarterback. What do you think, Ed? Yeah, Pedro, I'll let you go first with that one.
Well, like I think the pick somewhat makes sense because obviously, I mean, the Eagles fans on Twitter, I mean, Ed remembers this, but they come at you like say like when we were talking about we were going to win the first game and they're like, "Oh, we haven't won a game or we haven't beat you guys or the Redskins haven't won a game against the Eagles in 3 years." Well,
Right.
Carson Wentz hasn't finished a season healthy in 3 years. So that's why it does make sense. But then also a second round pick on a backup quarterback is a very, very high price when you could get, there was a lot of good players left on the board. You could have gotten a receiver, a cornerback, and they chose to get a backup quarterback who knows? He's kind of that hybrid quarterback, and you never know with those guys. I think he's going to be decent, but you never know.
Right. That's facts. I was happy they drafted Jalen Hurts. And I like Jalen Hurts. I was rooting for Jalen Hurts. I kind of wish he went to a different team. But I loved it because it really showed that they don't trust in Carson Wentz. I love it. We all know Carson Wentz can't play 16 games to save his life. He's the most injury-prone quarterback I've ever seen in my life. And I think he's the Derrick Rose of the NFL. That's what I compare it to. We just know what's his name. Carson Wentz is going to get hurt. It's not will he get hurt. It's when he's going to get hurt. And
Week 17 at Washington next year.
Right. And I'm not wishing any injury on the man. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see like Prescott get hurt. I don't want to see Danny Fumbles get hurt. But it's just funny, you know. And I love that the Eagles let Nick Foles walk. The one guy that actually won them a Super Bowl. Their only Super Bowl in their whole existence. I can go in on the Eagles all day. But shout out to Pedro's my guy. Every time we go back and forth, we're always going back and forth with like Eagles fans and Giants fans. Pedro's got my back, man. I know if I'm going down, I know the corny saying, if I'm going down a black alley and I need a Redskins fan to have my back, and there's a whole bunch of Giants fans and Eagles fans in a black alley and a Cowboys fan trying to fight or something, I know Pedro's got my back. He's
exactly. Giants fans are even worse with every Haskins, anything with Haskins, they start flaming him, and I just get so mad. Like, they call him Fat Skins, and I just get so mad. I can't wait. Like, as much as I want to beat the Eagles and Cowboys, I just, if we beat the Giants by like 30 and Haskins or Chase Young has like 6 sacks or like 3 sacks against Danny fumbles or Danny fumbles like 4 times, that would be amazing. But it's you'll see.
Right. Yeah, man. I went on a Giants YouTuber show. That's my guy. He's a good guy. I had to set the record straight. Giants fans, they talk crazy, man. They really do. I didn't know Giants fans talk crazy like that. They really do. They talk like they're just the best thing since sliced bread. Eagles fans are super cocky. Like I can't stand it. I sit back and laugh at them honestly because you just know Carson was going to get hurt. But Giants fans,
and then Cowboys fans are delusional.
Yeah, they're delusional. They think they're going to win the Super Bowl every year, and they end up going like 8-8 and try to blame the coach for everything every time they lose. But what was I going to say? The Eagles, Giants fans, they hate on Haskins when they were. I remember when it was the draft time. It was like right before the draft, and they had Giants fans used to Photoshop pictures of Dwayne Haskins. Like they would have Dwayne, like when Dwayne Haskins did the little thing when he was at Ohio State. Like they had Photoshop pictures of him in the Giants uniform. Like Giants fans wanted Dwayne Haskins at first, and that just shows you how wishy-washy they are. They just hate on Dwayne Haskins so much. And Dwayne Haskins went 13 for 13 in that first half before he got hurt. He probably would have had the same amount of touchdowns that Danny fumbles. He probably would have had like 5 touchdowns if he didn't get hurt. Shout out to Oscar Josue. Thank you for the donation, man. He's a channel member too. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
I think somebody else had a donation as well. Let's see here. But yeah, the Giants fans,
they also wanted Montez Sweat too.
Yeah.
With that whatever they were picking at 17, I think, or something. With that second pick.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah. And they're just delusional. They just hit on Haskins because
they wanted him.
Yeah, they wanted him, and they want to convince themselves that Daniel Jones is better. But we're gonna prove them wrong next year. My man Alexander Wilson with the donation. He said, "When did Wentz equal RG3? Jags exited Foles too."
So I mean, RG3 really though, like. I mean, Carson Wentz had his rookie year. He was fine with injuries and stuff. RG3 had he had at least one concussion, maybe 2 concussions in his rookie year. Had one knee injury that he missed. I think it was against Cleveland, a couple games in that 2012 year. And then obviously that torn ACL. RG3's injuries were just way more severe in the beginning, which kind of led to his downfall. Carson Wentz is still a good quarterback. I mean, he's relatively healthy. Just he's always gets injured right before the season ends, which is unfortunate for them. But
yeah. When did Wentz equal RG3? Well, RG3 is injury prone, just like Carson Wentz. RG3, he put himself in kind of some bad situations. And he got hurt with the Browns, and I think he hasn't gotten hurt with the Ravens yet. But RG3, it's unfortunate. I really wish the Seahawks game. I really wish he would have just sat back down instead of coming back in the game.
Yeah,
I think the injury wouldn't have been as bad as it was. And then Haloti Nada, it was a questionable, dirty hit on RG3 with the Ravens. But yeah, Wentz is just super injury prone. I think unfortunately he probably will get injured again this year. And then Jaguars exited Foles too. Nick Foles, he only plays well on the Eagles, and I said that a couple years ago. Every time he goes to a different team, he doesn't. Tab King said the coach decided that, not RG3. But Tab King, you got to understand, RG3 wanted to go back in. He did. It wasn't just Shanahan. RG3 wanted to go back in. He said it himself. He said pressure, no diamonds or something like that. He said that. I remember that a couple back in 2012 when it happened. And RG3 definitely wanted to go back in that game.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it wasn't just Mike Shanahan. He RG3 wanted to go back in the game. And you know how RG3's personality is. That's just the kind of guy he is. And a lot of people want to go back. Like Darius Geis, when he got hurt in the Eagles game, he wanted to go back in. When he lied. He kind of lied about the injury. He said he was fine, but he really wasn't. So, and that's just how players are. Players always want to play through injuries, and that's just the mentality that NFL players have.
Yeah, because I was listening to this podcast with Chris Cooley, who was on the team in 2012, and he said that because RG3 got hurt before that Browns game, or it might have been the Browns game, and he had to miss that game, and then Kirk Cousins played really good. We won the game by a lot, and he started to get jealous of Kirk, so he wanted to come back for the Eagles game, and he should not have. Eagles game was week 16, I think. He should, like Chris Cooley was like, he should have sat out that game. But he was so jealous and didn't want Kirk to take his job, which was ridiculous because RG3 was the rookie of the year, and then he played in that Eagles game, was kind of limping, and then that caused the injury to linger on to week 17 the first week of the playoffs against Seattle.
Right. Oh yeah, King. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, the coach is supposed to have the players back, and Shanahan messed up RG3. Not saying it's all his fault. Yeah, I mean, RG3 is not innocent, and Shanahan's not innocent either. Both of them, they were kind of stubborn and whatnot. It's unfortunate. They definitely RG3 should have had a way longer career than what he had as a starting quarterback. It's unfortunate. They probably will. They might make a 30 for 30 or something like that on RG3. Because he really was he was a beast. He was the offensive rookie of the year. Somebody else had a good question. Somebody said Shamar said Dunbar's not guilty. We'll see about that one. Where was the question? I can't find it. Oh, Andrew Shaw. Yeah, that's kind of what you were talking about too, Pedro. He said we should let Cody Latimer go and get Demaryius Thomas as that veteran depth. What do you think about bringing in Demaryius Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, I think Demaryius Thomas would be good. Some other names to throw out there. You got Chris Hogan. Yeah, he's not great. He didn't play great last year in Carolina because he was hurt. But like I said, played under Ron Rivera, and he's a veteran. That could be an option. Demaryius Thomas, also a good big threat who's also pretty fast, I think, and he's a veteran, played with the Broncos and a lot of other teams. And then maybe even Taylor Gabriel. He is small, but no one signed him, and he's played okay in the last couple of years, but playing okay with Mitch Trubisky is pretty good, if you ask me.
Right. Yeah, Taylor Gabriel was pretty interesting. Demaryius Thomas is interesting too. He wasn't that bad with the Jets last year. I actually kind of want to look up his stats and see what he did, but I know he's older. He had an Achilles injury, like 2018 or something like that. He bounced back from that. So he actually didn't have a bad. He had 36 catches for 433 yards and one touchdown, which is basically kind of what Calvin Harmon did. So I'm not really impressed. So I don't think it's necessary. I think Calvin Harmon can do that. I think Calvin Harmon can easily get 36 catches for 433 yards. I think it's about time we go with the youth movement and go with the younger guys on offense and see what. I think bringing in another guy, unless they're like a dominant receiver, like a really good receiver, which we already missed out on free agency. We already missed out on Amari Cooper. We already missed out on Robbie Anderson and Emmanuel Sanders. I wouldn't bring in another veteran receiver unless they're like a really, really good receiver. If they're like a middle of the pack, like a Cody Latimer guy who's like average, that's going to take away snaps from Calvin Harmon. It's going to take snaps from AGG. We need to see what AGG has. We need to see I know he's a rookie. I just want to see what he can do. We need to see what Calvin Harmon can do. And if you look at last year, Trey Quinn took snaps away from Steve Sims. And Paul Richardson took snaps away from Calvin Harmon. I don't want to see any older veteran guys who are just not good taking away useful snaps from young guys like Steve Sims and young guys like AGG and young guys like Calvin Harmon. We know Terry McLaurin is going to get all the snaps. We need to see what the other guys can offer. So I wouldn't bring any other veterans unless they're like a legitimate veteran.
Yeah, Steven Sims only had. I was going to say this. Steven Sims only had played 33% of the snaps last year, and he really only started playing a lot the last 4 or 5 games, and in those games he played really good, got a few touchdowns with Haskins. Looks like he had really good chemistry with Haskins, so I seriously cannot wait. He's been working with the receiver coach who trained Des Bryant and Antonio Brown, so I'm really excited.
Oh yeah. Steve Sims has been a beast with the workouts. I mean, he's electric. Like he's sit down. He's like can't miss TV. Like when you're watching Steve Sims play, when he gets the football, he's gonna make something happen. So I love watching Steve Sims. He's one of my favorite players on the team. Shamar, I'm not drinking a half and half. I'm not drinking a half and half. I'm drinking some of the secret stuff. Veterans Over the Road says we don't need a free agent wide receiver. We need to trade for a stud wide receiver. Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind it. We don't have. I mean, next year we have 1 first-round pick, we have 1 second-round pick, 3rd-round pick. So I don't think we're going to trade for any receiver. I think we're just going to stick with the young guys. But if it were up to me, yeah, I'd rather just trade for somebody. DeAndre Hopkins already got traded. I don't think Odell Beckham will be traded. I'm not one of the people that wants Odell Beckham. And Brandon Cooks already got traded. Curtis Samuel from the Panthers, I heard he might be on the trading block. That was a rumor. I think
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk. I think those rumors have kind of really died down. So Stephon Diggs, everybody wanted Stephon Diggs. Of course, he didn't get traded to us. I knew that wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Everybody kept getting hyped up. He was going to come to DC, but of course, things like that never happen. So he's gone. So I don't really see any wide receiver we could really trade for. I mean, we'll see what happens at the trade deadline. But I like I said, I like the young guys that we have. I'd rather just once again, this is a trial year. Somebody said that in the comments. I forgot who said it, but this is a year where we just see what Haskins has. We see what all the young second year guys and rookies have. Abe Ellenbrook said, "How about a Jamar Chase?" But Pedro, what do you think about Jamar Chase, the guy from?
He's an absolute beast. I think, best receiver in the draft. Probably gonna go top 6, which is really rare for a receiver. I think last time it happened, I can't remember for sure, but probably Corey Davis. But I think we should, like I said, someone said trial year. Like, let's see how AGG does. Let's see how Steven Sims does. Let's see how Terry McLaurin, Kelvin Harmon, all of them do, and even Antonio Gibson before we start looking for more receivers, because they're so young. You'd have no idea what they're gonna do.
Right. So yeah, basically like Pedro was saying, I just want to see the young guys trial year, see all their Steve Sims, Calvin Harmon, AGG, even Isaiah Wright. Who knows? He might even surprise people and fool around and catch like 40 catches and return punts and do some sweeps and things like that. So it is a trial year. It's just see what the young guys do. Veteran said Mike Evans. Yeah, I don't see Tampa, especially since they got Tom Brady. They're not going to trade away any receivers. Let's see here. Pedro, would you trade for OJ Howard? How do you feel about that? Because I know those rumors have kind of died down too. So, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that could be a situation to monitor, like at the trade deadline. If he's getting upset with not getting any many touches, that could be something that happens. I really wanted OJ Howard. I think him in a Trent trade would have been a great deal. Maybe give us like an additional 5th if it would have happened earlier, which they said that was the deal. It was OJ Howard and Trent, but that trade never it didn't work out. But that would have been amazing. You got a starting caliber tight end that we all wanted in the draft a couple years ago. And I think he's a decent, solid tight end. Really hasn't had a great quarterback, and the scheme around him isn't great for tight ends.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean, I like OJ Howard. I would have gave it like a 4th, and that's about it. But yeah, we're about to sign off. So one more question. We'll take one last question here. Let's see here. John Production, shout out to him. He said, if Haskins gets hurt, knock on wood, of course, knock on wood, and we get a top 10 pick, will we get a quarterback?
Okay, so that's really interesting because it really depends. Like, I don't think it really depends. Like, if Haskins gets hurt week 1, like we have that'll give us no sample size on what he does. If he gets hurt week 10, week 11, week 12, and he's played really good, then I would not draft a quarterback. But when he's played, if he does not look good at all, and it's maybe like another ankle injury, which he's had, then maybe potentially go for a quarterback. But I'm a believer in Haskins. I really want him. I want us to give him a chance, give him a full year of reps with the team as a starting quarterback before you go after a quarterback. But yeah, there are some good quarterbacks. You got Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and if you get a top 10 pick, you're definitely getting one of those guys. And number 1 pick, which I hope we do not get, that'll be Trevor Lawrence, unless Justin Fields and Trey Lance go off, and they're gonna be good. But
right. I believe in it. MLG Gotham's channel. I don't know if that's a Jets player or Eagles player. I can't really tell in his profile picture. But Shelly Long, I guess Shelly Long is I don't know what team they like, but they said we better get a quarterback. If he gets hurt, it depends on how he plays. I honestly think Haskins will. I think this year he's going to throw like 20 touchdowns and maybe 9 picks or something like that. That's what I'm seeing, because last year, I think he had like a 4-to-1 ratio with interceptions when he finally started starting. When he came off the bench, he was 0 touchdowns and 4 picks. The Giants game and the Viking games threw 4 picks in those games combined, and then towards the end of the year, he threw like 7 touchdowns and I want to say only 3 picks. So
yeah,
I think next year is like 20 touchdowns, 9 picks if he starts every game, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good for a second year guy. Or I might go with like 23 touchdowns and 9 or 10 picks.
Yeah.
So if he does that, then I don't see us drafting another quarterback. Now, if he plays bad, like say 15 touchdowns, 15 picks, or 15 touchdowns, 13 picks or something like that, then Ron, it's not his guy. So Ron might be looking to draft another guy. So
And yeah, that's if that happens, it really like kind of screws us over because then your rebuilding process extends for another 2 years if you're going to draft a quarterback because obviously rarely do quarterbacks play really good in year 1 and even year 2 and then our defense is going to get older. You know what I mean? Like Haskins really has to pan out this year for us to or in the next couple years. I just we gotta he has to do good.
Right. 1,000 subs with no video challenge. Yeah, that's a good prediction too. 25 touchdowns, 12 picks. That's about right. I can see that happening. That's pretty good. That's a 2-to-1 ratio, which is good. 25 touchdowns is a good amount of touchdowns. 12 picks is not bad. It's about an average. In 16 games, you're throwing like, 1 pick here and there, so it's not bad. But all right, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit the thumbs
Thank
up
you.
button. This is my guy Pedro, man. Make sure you guys sub up his channel. I put his link in the description. Make sure
Thanks.
that I did. Yeah, his link is down low in the description. Make sure you click on the link and sub up to his channel. He's a great guy, great YouTuber.
I appreciate it.
He's always got my back on Twitter, man. He's always every time we go back and forth with Giants and Eagles fans and Cowboys fans, he's always got my back.
Yep, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on it. I really had a good time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're definitely gonna get you on there again, man. On here again.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Hail to them Skins. Peace.
HTTR.